Hi all, today we're going to look at a Sudoku program in C++. This is actually a project that my friends and I worked on about 2 years ago, and we're going to look at the code, the actual program, and see how the overall thing performs. So let's hop into C++. So we are now in C++. Let's have a look at the program. I'm going to go through just the code itself. It's a very long line of code. It's actually 3,000, sorry. Utilizes 0 classes, 0 OOP. So let's run it and let's have a look and see what we can do. Alright, so if you play SUDOKU, you'll actually know how this game works. All you gotta do is just fill in the grid with numbers, and I'll just demonstrate it. So help, the program will display 3x3 grid, so it's 9 all in total. You basically need to fill in all the columns with numbers 1 to 9. You can only have one occurrence of the numbers from 1 to 9 each album, row and box. You can't change the numbers that have been predefined. It's going to make an error. And to redo your answer, just convert your answer back to 0. Have fun. So credits, my friends and I made this for a project, just, for school requirements. So that's that. We're going to choose the easy difficulty. So here we go. All right, let's start with the box one. Obviously, I'm not going to go through every single one because it's going to take forever because I'm not really good at Sudoku. But for example, you want to pick a cell, just press, for example, pick the the row in the column. So I'm going to choose B1, and I'm going to assume there's a, let's try 3. So it changes to 3, B1. Now if I want to change it back, all I got to do is do B1 again. Oops, sorry, let's go back over here. B1. Let's make it 0 so you can change it back. Cool. Okay, so I'm actually gonna speed this thing up to where it's finished so we can see how it ends. Okay, so after a few minutes of figuring it out, well, not a few, I'd say 30 minutes or whatever, so I able to finally get the last one. I think the answer is, 8. Was it 8? I think it's 8, yeah. So we're gonna choose cell I9, I9, sorry, I9, and then 8. Okay, so after figuring it out, I was able to finish the game, and we finally get the congrats, you won the game. It took a while for me to actually solve everything. I don't know, maybe I skipped something, or I'm not sure, but let's have a look at the code. So we go all the way up here, and we're just gonna kind of breeze through it. So basically, 2 important things here is that we use arrays and loops. Those to really hold the fundamentals of this program together. So let's have a look at the code. We got some functions here, and pretty much we used lots of error checking. We used lots of else if statements to check. We also used pretty much just basic logic for arrays to create columns and rows, but we didn't use any 2D array. So we kept it really simple because it's kind of hard to manipulate 2D arrays. So here we got some error checking. Basically for each block, I think it's 81 in total times 3, which is like 243, or I don't know, something like that. For each single block, we'll check what the user's input is, and we basically compare it. And it's basically like it's like an award system. For every time you get something correct, the program takes note of it and keeps taking note until everything's correct. And yeah, basically copy paste. There's a lot of copy pasting here, a lot of copy pasting, and it checks for basically every single input, every single possibility within the board. So now, like, once that's done, we go down here. By the way, this generates the table. This will generate the columns and the rows. And here we store the data, the counter. This basically gives the pattern by printing it out, depending on what the difficulty is. If it's 1, it will print out the board, so on and so forth. For easy, the difficulty basically it makes it 0. It changes the pattern to 0 when you want to input something. So basically it takes arguments 1 to 3, replaces the value to 0, and returns an integer for the play function. Basically just the board basically. And pretty much this function over here, checkmate, it checks if the user wins or doesn't win. And here, well, pretty much same thing. I really didn't explain that well because again, this code is really more of concept what I'm trying to do is explain the concept rather than the actual code, because it's a lot of math, I guess, a lot of trial error. But then basically when the program checks that everything is like in order, when they're all like the same, they're all correct, it just says you win the game. So I hope that's more or less something that this program could teach you. So guys, thanks for watching, and see you again soon.